Said we are going live. You see, the thing is between like my streams and other people's streams is they've got like intro videos and stuff, and I do that sometimes. But I find it a lot more fun to sort of dive into a stream and have no idea what's going on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. We are going to have a very, very quick, because I don't have very long. That shouldn't be as open as that is, because I've got my ring light on. I'm going to have a very, very quick discussion about what is going on with the Manor Solomon situation. Leeds United very obviously going to be interested in signing Manor Solomon after what has been a very, very good season for him so far. But we may be expecting to face off with a little bit of opposition for him, because reportedly Marseille are keeping a little bit of an eye on Manor Solomon. What this means for us, what it could do with his price, I'll get into that as we go throughout the stream. First of all, though, there has to be a bit of a conversation around whether or not we actually want to retain Manor Solomon. And for me, it's a question that sort of answers itself, because if you have a look through all of his numbers, like any of them, from last season, you think, absolutely you do, yeah. Because played, in terms of 90s, 28.8, so a little bit more than half of the season for Leeds United. Got 10 goals, got 12 assists, incredibly creative, very, very good at finishing, and throughout that back end of the season, I'm going to have a very, very quick look, actually, and see if I can make that like match reports thing a little bit bigger. Because if you look at the back end of the season, for the last 6 matches, which is the 6 matches in a row that we won towards the end of the year, he had a goal involvement in every single one. So 1-0 win against Middlesbrough, gets an assist. 2-1 win against Preston, goal and an assist. Beat Oxford 1-0, scores the goal. 2 assists against Stoke City when we win 6-0. An assist against Bristol City when we win 4-0. And he scored against Plymouth Argyle with that winner that we will all remember for an extended period of time. So what I think we saw towards the end of the season was the version of Manor Solomon that you get when he's properly got some momentum going, when he is feeling it, when he is in the mood. And that's ultimately what you want to be seeing from a signing. You want to see someone that you can bring on and just go, right, you are just going to rip up this division for a while. And he did. And I feel like when we are pushing our way into the Premier League, he will potentially do so again, because he's very, very good. Like in the past, let's have a look at his numbers at Spurs. So at Spurs, 199 minutes, still got himself 2 assists. At Fulham, scored 4 in like 6.4 90s. He's the kind of player that is almost certainly going to get a decent level of returns when you are playing him. But in the Premier League so far, no one's really been playing him. So I think we offer the opportunity to be the place that he can call home, as he said in that Instagram post, and he was like, I genuinely feel like really at home here, whilst offering him the football that he very, very clearly will want. And this is where we get into the trickier part of the conversation, which is the fact that we are likely to have a little bit of opposition for signing him. It was reported earlier today. I'm going to find out specifically who, because the link that I'm looking at the moment is Team Talk, but I know it didn't come directly from Team Talk. There we go. Sasha Tavolieri, who is a very, very sort of reliable source when it comes to European football, has reported that Marseille, the Ligue 1 outfit, have repeatedly scouted the ex-Fulham loanee this season, and discussions between the parties have begun. This being, they're having a little bit of a chat going on with Spurs to see what things are looking like at the moment, which makes things a little bit spooky for us, because obviously Marseille are in a very, very strong position. I'm just going to have a quick look at the Ligue 1 table, actually, and see where they're set. There it is. Yeah, Marseille currently sat 2nd place in Ligue 1, which is the best that you're going to get if you're any team that isn't PSG. Let's be realistic about this. If you're not PSG, you don't do better than that in France, which is not going to be a bad place for him to go. And if you consider like the level of talent that plays at Marseille at the minute, he's also very likely to sort of push his way into that side. So let's have a quick look at the Marseille squad, just to see if I can make a little bit of a point on this one. Okay, there we go. So, in terms of players that have scored plenty of goals, there is the one from Manchester United that allegedly committed the crimes, but court found that he didn't because witnesses withdrew for interesting reasons. And then there's a nice big gap in terms of goal and assist involvements, all the way down to Amin Gouiri, who is a pretty good player, but I don't think he's as good as Manor Solomon, Luis Enrique, Adrien Rabiot. Neil Maupay was getting a decent amount of football at Marseille this season, which tells me that if he wanted to make a move to a club that is almost certainly going to get Champions League football, Manor Solomon is potentially up there in terms of it will make sense for him, which is sort of annoying for us because we will obviously want to sign him. But this will push the number that we may need to spend to sign him up and up and up, because reports from Switzerland have also said that Tottenham are demanding along the lines of 20 million euros to sign him. Converting that into pounds, we're talking about 17 million pounds, which is a lot of money. And I think people were more talking 10 to 15, probably 12 range for Manor Solomon, which would have been good. I think that's the ideal sort of price point for him. But if Spurs are going to Spurs and Spurs are going to say, well, no, because we can do a negotiation here because Marseille and Leeds both want him, so we can maybe force a bidding war to happen, that's where things get a little bit spooky for us. Then it comes down to if it's a good idea to sign him, who is used to the system and knows what's going on, compared to if we want to try and find someone else that might be better, but doesn't know the system quite as well. And when it comes to like the message that he posted on Instagram, not on Instagram, sorry, is it? I don't know. I want to celebrate with my partner, with the club's employees. We deserve it. I've been focused on this season. In 2 or 3 days, we'll talk and see what's happening. So presumably that'll be going on now because this was a few days ago. I don't know what the future holds, but I can just say I love Leeds, which is a nice message, but it's not necessarily a message that screams confidence and screams a move to Leeds United. So I would love to sign Manor Solomon, but this has just been a quick stream to sort of explain what the issue is within that. Again, it's going to be very, very quick. I'm going to have a quick dive through the comments and then I'm going to have to nip off because I've got bits and bobs to do. But yeah, it's a spooky spot, but it's a spot that needed talking about. I'm going to have a quick delve into the comments and I'm going to end the stream. But if you haven't yet, pop a like on it. That'd be wonderful. As recommended by Danny. Hello, Michael and Wayne. Easter Gaming, I reckon we'll sign Solomon and Kelleher. Kelleher will be way too expensive. Solomon is a question mark, I think. Solomon is a question of how much does he love Leeds compared to how much he would quite like to play in the Champions League. Hope Leeds are not slow at the blocks in the transfer markets we've done before. Ended up last minute with no decent signings. When did we last do that, though, is my question. Because we said that we did that last summer, but then it's a squad that everyone said is the best squad in the league and eventually got us promoted. So it's confusing. If Liverpool do want 40 million plus, then Kelleher's an absolute no. Then that would be a bad idea. Aren't Leeds looking at some of the Marseille team? Interesting to see whether Manor wants to stay in England. Yes, apparently we are having a little bit of a sniff around their captain that I have forgotten. That Leonardo Balerdi, that's the one. Whether or not that happens, I don't know. But it feels like a very likely probably not because it's a bit tricky. Do it as 15 with add-ons. That would make sense, but again, it's a question of how much Spurs want to guarantee for me. Solomon's the nailed-on left winger for Leeds, earned it, is Premier League, and has a great bond with Firpo. Question is, do we keep Firpo? Because that is also a question mark. Like Ampadu's talk about Betis at the parade has spooked me a little bit on that one. I would like to retain. Okay, on this one, we didn't need to do anything in January. We got promoted either way, fairly comfortably by 10 points. So it was a gamble, but it was a gamble that worked out. I would have liked us to sign someone at the time, but looking back in retrospect, it was the right choice. We just commit ourselves to buying Solomon. He's proven himself. For me, I think I agree on that one. I think he's done more than enough to prove that he is the guy to take that left wing spot. It's just more of a question around, is it viable for us? for me. I don't know. Apparently, Manor and his missus is very happy in Leeds. She has family there. Apologies if you mentioned this. I had not, but that's a very interesting one to know. That could be helpful. Surprise, Rothwell's gone back. Of all the loan signings from last season, all being Solomon and Rothwell, I think Rothwell was the one that I was more certain would go back. I think Rothwell is the one where you look at him and you think not 100% on him being a Premier League player. Let's look elsewhere and see what comes out. But we'll see. Someone in the crowd with the Real Betis stuff on. I forgot about that bit. Okay, that's a very good point. Thank you for pointing that one out. I appreciate it. We can say that now, and it was a big gamble. It was a big gamble, but it was a gamble that worked. So it's all right. Whereas we know we need to do things in this window where, like, there's a world in which you don't do something in January and it works, and that's the world in which we live. But there's fewer worlds in which we don't sign anyone in the summer and it turns out fine. If we know we need to do things, we will do things because that's what the ownership does. Lewis Pate 22 now. Can he still become a superstar? Potentially, but he's got a lot of work to do together. Do you think we'll deal with outgoings before signing anyone, or is it irrelevant? I think there is a chance of it, but I don't think that's going to be the decisive factor in bringing players in. We've got a lot of cash. So no, I don't think we need to sell to buy. That'd be a very weird position for us to be in. It'd be like what Leicester were doing last season, but we're not anywhere near that level of scuffed. But what I am going to do is I'm going to end the stream there because it's going to be a short one because I've not really got much time today. But to sum up, Manor Solomon, currently gone back to Spurs, potentially on the move permanently this summer somewhere. Leeds have an interest, but so do Marseille, who will get Champions League football. There is no way that they do not, I think. Let's have a quick look at the table. No, they guaranteed it at this point, which keeps things a little bit spooky. Looking like a £17 million deal for whoever signs him. If it's less, then that would be absolutely fantastic. I hope it's Leeds. How much cash will we have? I know that we've got around £100 million of budget. That was reported by Sky Sports, and they wouldn't have reported it if they didn't know it for certain. I imagine you can add any other sales on top of that as well. So 100 and sales is what I would go with. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I am going to end the stream there. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, pop a like on it. That's always massively appreciated. Subscribe if you are not yet. I'm trying to get as high as possible throughout the transfer window, but we'll find out how that one goes. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you later. Toodaloo.